If your vinegar is crystal clear, you're missing the best part. Most store-bought apple cider vinegar is pasteurized and filtered, which removes the beneficial bacteria, enzymes, and nutrients. But homemade vinegar keeps it all intact, making it more powerful for your health. This difference matters because pasteurization kills the mother, which is the probiotic-rich culture that supports digestion. Filtering removes sediment that actually contains minerals and enzymes. Homemade apple cider vinegar is raw living and full of natural goodness, just like our ancestors made it. When I learned all the benefits of just making my own, this is when I made the switch and I'm never going back. Let me teach you today how to make your own apple cider vinegar. All right, guys, welcome on in. Today we're going to be learning how to make homemade apple cider vinegar. So homemade apple cider vinegar, first of all, it tastes way better than store-bought. If you have never made it, you will absolutely notice the taste difference. It may also help cholesterol. It may also help skin health. It may aid in weight loss. I have noticed one of my favorite things is when I do drink my cider vinegar, it definitely curbs my appetite, so I'm not as hungry, but that's just for me. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make your own homemade apple cider vinegar the easy way. It's just apples, water, and sugar, and your time. All right, so first you're going to start with your apples. Now, a lot of people do use apple scraps, meaning the peels, the core, and just kind of scraps, and you can do that. Today I'm going to be making mine with just some whole apples because it does give it a little bit more of a stronger flavor. And I have experimented with many types of apples and it's been really fun. I did a batch with some green apples and it was really a unique taste, almost like a wine barrel taste, kind of a nutty flavor. So you can experiment with different types of apples. But today we're just going to be using some Fuji apples. Now I had a good question on my last video. Somebody asked, do you have to wash the skins? And you definitely should wash the skins if they're not organic apples. I just kind of wipe these down with some vinegar. I've heard you can use a vinegar and baking soda solution to kind of get the pesticides off of the skin first. So that was a great question, and definitely recommend wiping off the skins or soaking the skins. So today I'm just going to be making about half of a gallon of apple cider vinegar. So I have about 4 apples. We're going to see how much they do fill the jar. If they fill it, I have another jar on hand to spill into that one. All right, so first you're just going to chop up your apples. And I leave the skin, I leave the seeds, I leave the core. I leave everything in the apple. I don't take anything out, but you could absolutely take stuff out if you wanted to. I know some people do take the seeds out, so you can take those out if you want. I just don't do that. It's all personal preference. But I'll tell you what, though, that green apple vinegar was really, 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 really good. So I might try that again soon. All right, so you're just going to chop your apples up. And I'm going to start with chopping up about 2 apples. All right, now you can chop them up as fine as you want or as chunky as you want. It's all, again, personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and put the apples in the jar. And when you do apple cider vinegar, if you get like where you end up loving it like our family does, you almost want to think ahead. So usually my apple cider vinegars take about 2 months to finish. So right now I probably have about a gallon of vinegar ready to go. So I'm thinking ahead. So in 2 months this will be done. So it's kind of like, you know, you kind of want to you always want to forward think with ferments because sometimes they do take a while to finish. So you have to think ahead. All right, when you do fill your jar, you definitely do not want to go all the way to the top, even where the neck is. You want to leave, I usually go about halfway or a little above halfway because when you put your water in here, after it starts to bubble and ferment, bubbles are going to rise up in the neck and you don't want it overflowing. So that looks about good. What you're going to want to do now is you're going to add your water. So you want to try and use distilled water or spring water. If you do have to use chlorinated tap water, you can leave it out overnight so the chlorine has time to evaporate and dissipate by the time the morning comes, and you can just put it in your cider vinegar. And chlorine can also interfere with the yeast and bacteria, so it's best not to have it in there. But again, if you do have the tap water, just pour your water out, let it sit overnight, and you should be fine in the morning. All right, so I poured about 4 cups of some spring water into the mason jar here, and the ratio of water to sugar is 1 tablespoon of sugar per 1 cup of water. So I'm going to do about 4 tablespoons of sugar next and add that to my solution. So I've got this all pre-measured here, and you want to try and add organic sugar if you can, because again, it's just less interference with all of the natural stuff that needs to take place. All right, so next I'm going to be adding my sugar here. And we're going to give this a stir. Now it's also important to note that you do not want a weight for this type of a ferment. So this type of a ferment, you actually want the bacteria to be exposed to the air. I think they are called acetobacter or something like that, but again, they do need air so they can do their magic. And again, if they're pushed underneath the solution, they cannot properly do what they're supposed to do for you on this type of a ferment. All right, so once you've got it this far, for the next 2 weeks, you're going to want to stir it once a day. So you'll take your little cover off, which again, I like to use the cloth covers. You can use a coffee filter. You can use anything that kind of lets it breathe a little bit, and you're just going to stir it once a day here. You're going to notice that with time, it does get a little bit bubbly, which is a good sign. And it slowly will become more acidic, and then you'll get less bubbles. The point of stirring it is so you do not get mold on the top, because nobody wants mold on their ferments. If you do get a little mold, it's not the end of the world. You're just going to want to take those apples off with mold and make sure you stir every day for the first 2 weeks. After the first 2 weeks, I'll just kind of let my solution sit for another week or 2, and then I do strain my apples out of the solution, and then I just kind of let the the vinegar turn more and more acidic, and then eventually it will start to smell like vinegar and will be ready for you to use it. And then one thing you'll also notice is with time, in about 2 weeks, you'll start to see a little bit of a milky layer on the bottom of your jar. That is a great sign. That is called the mother, and you want that. It's full of good enzymes for you, and it's really, really healthy for you. Now, a lot of people, like Jeff and I, will just drink a little shot of this a day. You can make salad dressings out of this. Lily and I made a carrot vinegar salad the other day that was delicious with olive oil. So it's very, very versatile and very healthy for you. And the best part is there's so many health benefits for you by making your own. And again, the taste is delicious. In my opinion, so much better than the store-bought. If you guys have any cool tips for me on apple cider vinegar, or an apple that you like that gives you good results for your vinegar, leave it in the comments. I want to know about it. All right, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will get back to you. We'll see you guys next time.